to Out of the Box with Christine, the podcast for conscious entrepreneurs. Are you willing to step into your greatness? Are you ready to shine? Well, get ready, Truth Seeker. You're in for an amazing ride. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blosdale.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your host, Christine Blosdale, your podcast coach. And today you are so lucky you tuned in because this is a very special show talking about a subject matter that is absolutely near and dear to my heart. My guest today is the CEO and founder of Inspired Living, Keri Murphy. And Keri is absolutely committed to empowering people all around the world to use the power of video. Let me say that again. Use the power of video. And she has been, you've been doing this for 20, it's impossible you've been doing this for 20 years.
Good Lord, Christine, way too long. Yes.
Because I mean, you've been doing this since you were a baby.
Just about. Mm-hmm.
And Keri specializes in helping entrepreneurs really empower themselves and spread the message about their expertise, their passions through the art of video. And so welcome to Out of the Box, Keri. I am so happy to have you.
Thank you, Christine. I just love your energy and you, and just so excited to be here with you today.
Well, again, we're talking about something that I love. And I had spoken to you just before we started recording about the fact that with my clients that I teach how to create a podcast and the art of the interview and all those good things, that it's not just about the audio, that if you really want to connect with people, you've got to do a video. And it doesn't matter if you're doing a promotional video talking about what you're doing, if you're doing a podcast, if you're wanting people to buy your book, whatever it is, the power of video is so important because that connection, we get to like actually look at people, they get to see our eyes. They get to know that we're not some
bots. Yes. It's multi-sensory.
Exactly. Yes. So why don't you just tell our listeners and viewers on YouTube a little bit about how you got started and your experience on camera?
Well, it's a bit of a crazy story. But I started, growing up in the 80s. I'm dating myself, but it was the supermodel era. And I grew up with a very glamorous grandmother and really thought my destiny was going to be walking the runway. It wasn't. But around 11 years old, I started really getting into acting. And even though, I enjoyed it, probably like so many entrepreneurs, Christine, I remember watching myself back in acting classes, from my adolescence into my teens. Like it was the worst horror film on the planet. Like I look like that, I sound like that, and I think everyone can relate to that. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't think that inner critic ever goes away. But then that really translated into hosting. I started my first business when I was 23. So I have been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades. I've been on camera for over 3. And the art of inspired living and what we teach is really helping entrepreneurs be seen, be known, and be paid for their brilliance in the marketplace. And visibility is huge. As you know, it is so important. And yet a lot of people are really scared to use it. So over the last decade, we've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs all over the world, really teaching them how to define their message, how to get over their fear, how to get into, impact and what I call like that service-based business model. And we've just really seen in the last year and a half, I mean, obviously I've been using video since I started my first business in my 20s, but I will say the power we have right now, whether you're in lockdown, you're locked in, wherever you are, we have the ability every single day to go live. Like we have, multi-million-dollar assets at our fingertips like YouTube, where I actually got discovered and got my first national hosting job ever. They found me on YouTube. So, it's one of the things I just feel like it's what I do today is such a culmination of everything I've ever done, from my interior design business to owning a talent agency to what I get to do right now. And I love it so much.
So you get to pull in all of your skills, right? And I know, because it's the same when I was really young, my most exciting Christmas was, I didn't get a pony. I didn't get a puppy. I didn't get a bike. I got a Panasonic, one of those cassette recorders. You know, those things you put a
Yes.
cassette in it, you got, and it was
The
as
two
big.
button press record.
Yes, yes. And and it had a little handle, it had a little thing you pulled out and you could
Girl,
carry it
yes.
with you.
Yes.
I was probably 9 or 10, and I got that, and my whole world expanded because my mom was a single parent. She worked at a bar very late, and she was a waitress, and she'd come home at 2 a.m. So what I would do is at night before I'd go to sleep, I would press record, the two buttons, and I would tell stories. And I would interview my stepdad at the time, or, just say, this is what I did today. And yes, I brushed my teeth and all those things, so that when she came home, she could press play. I know, right?
Like it's ew.
But that
Yeah.
was the beginning of my love affair with audio and not so much the art of the interview, because it was just mostly, a lot of me.
But it was the art of expression.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and it was easy, and I was passionate about it. And lo and behold, I didn't know that, several years later I would get into radio broadcast, public broadcasting.
Yeah.
And that same thrill of seeing that on air light go on was something that it was magic to me.
Yeah.
And then the natural progression to podcasting. But the idea that you have all these beautiful, wonderful things that you love to do, and with your life, you've taken them along the way and put them together in this beautiful service. One thing that because I went and checked out your website, as I do, which is inspiredliving.tv. I encourage people to go. Yes. We'll have a link in the show notes. But one of the things that you said in the welcome video, which is, again, very important. When you go to somebody's website, if they have a welcome video, that's really helpful, because you get to know, instead of just reading a bunch of text and looking at pictures.
I have some serious statistics on that. It's very
I know
important.
You do.
Yes.
But one of the things that you said, and it rang so well with me, was that you're passionate also about helping women become, 6-figure, 7-figure entrepreneurs. And it's important that we have more women be successful in business, because then that way, we know how we are. We're givers, we're creators. Yeah. And so that we can help our family out, but we can also help our community out. And right now there's an explosion of women creating their own business, speaking out, and it doesn't matter what age.
Yeah,
right?
That's a beautiful thing. Yes. Yeah. I mean, really,
have you noticed this huge explosion of women coming into business?
Yes. I mean, the growth rate of women in business, I think, is 3 times of that of men starting businesses. However, when you look at the statistics, only 2% of women owned businesses ever cross the 7-figure mark. The average income from a women-owned business is less than $50,000 a year. So you want to get me on a soapbox and get me passionate about something? Look, like, I'm not saying women are the answer to all things, but what I will say is equality is. And I think that when we have wealth distributed more evenly across the country, around the world, and we have more women sitting at the table, having conversations, making decisions, putting our money where our passion is. Christine, people always ask, why is it called Inspired Living and not On Camera Coaching with Keri? It was never about video. To me, video is the conduit for impact. And when we're able to do what we love, like you do what you love, and you're plugged in and you are a light for other people to see possibility, right? Then reciprocity is what you get back, And so I really feel like, to me, inspired living is doing what you love, like your genius work, your calling. And because of the impact you make a great income, right? We bring in abundance and then we give it back. Like, I love building social entrepreneurs. And so that's why the company is called that. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people get over their fear, because video is not about you. And when you really get that, then it changes everything. The fear goes away. The, oh my God, I look like that, goes away a little bit. Like, it doesn't go away forever, but the minute you press record, you're more focused on the one person you're trying to reach, instead of, do I look good enough? Do I sound good enough? What if they don't like me? And so
I think a lot of that is because women all around the world, we have grown up with this thing of, this is your lot in life, right?
Yeah,
This is what
conditioning.
this is what you're supposed to do. Get through school. Hopefully you'll marry a doctor or,
Get married, have kids. Yeah.
have kids, and just be the happy homemaker and make sure your spouse is, happy when they come home type thing.
Oh my God,
That's been
so
the story.
antiquated. Like, I'd like to think we've evolved a little bit since
We
then.
have.
But you're right. It's still there though.
That is the story. And then also the feeling of not feeling worthy.
Yes.
Let's be honest. There's so much sexual assault and abuse that young girls in all around the world suffer. So then telling them, well, you can do it, you can do anything, is contradictory to what a lot of them feel about themselves. And this is, Out of the Box with Christine it's the podcast for conscious entrepreneurs. And what it is that many of us have these passions and these dreams and can help people in so many ways. But what holds us back are those old stories, right? Yeah. Those things that have happened to us. And so my wish and my dream is to help rising entrepreneurs to tackle those things and to say, you know what? Doesn't matter what happened to me. What happened to me created who I am today. That's why I have empathy. That's why I would never harm anyone.
Yes.
And that's why I can help others who have gone through that. Yeah. And I just noticed, I've noticed a huge explosion. A lot of my clients too I've got clients in their 70s. I have one woman who's in her early 90s who she's like, you know what? She's like, I've lived a life and I want to tell everybody about what worked for me, what didn't work for me.
I love that so much. Yeah, that's awesome.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, I think at there's a certain age where they don't really give a they don't care what they look like, they're like, I'm just going to go on camera and tell people what not to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what I will say, as I've gotten older, I'm not going to say again, it really ever goes away, but I'm so much more comfortable in my skin. And you mentioned something that I don't talk about very much. So I want to bring it to the surface because I always believe in like divine downloads, that people assume so many things when they see certain people, and it's like the backstory, you never know. Even right now, you never know what someone's going through. And growing up, I was sexually abused by my grandfather. There was a lot of stories that I had, but I will say that the inner work is constant, and the more work we do on the inside, the more we can show up confidently on the outside. And so whatever that journey looks like for someone right now, whatever healing they need, I always say your calling is, I find, like a divine imprint for your life. Whether that is you want to have a podcast, you want to have your own show, you want to build a significant brand. I don't believe we're given a vision without the ability to bring it to life. But I will say that if we don't confront the demons, if we don't confront the beliefs and the stories that are keeping us from showing up powerfully that way, then we never will. And so I feel like that's the responsibility of each and every one of us. Because let me tell you, we all go through adversity. I have interviewed millionaires, billionaires, celebrities. There's not one that was like, I woke up one day and everything was laid out ahead of me, It's like we are all on our own path, and to stop looking at what everyone else is doing and stay more focused on yourself. You want to build a brand and impact? Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Just row your own canoe.
You nailed it. You said something so important there, because we tend to, and especially as women, we tend to compare ourselves with others. Yes. And first of all, if you're don't even go on social media if you really want to have a high sense of purpose, because what happens is that we compare ourselves. How come I'm not, I don't look like that, or I don't have that kind of money, or this or that. And that comparison will kill a dream quicker than any, negative self-talk that you have. But that is a negative self-talk as well.
That I think comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with that. And also, what I've found working with people, and especially with women who have overcome some sort of trauma in life, is that what I tend to say to them is that you have something that people that you'll never hear from, you'll never know that if they're watching you or listening to you or reading your book, but you're going to impact them. And if you don't take that step to share your gifts, they won't have that opportunity to receive them. Right. Yeah. So instead of coming from a place of like, well, who am I to give my advice? How about coming from a place that there's someone out there that can benefit from what I've
Who are
done?
you not to? Who are you not to? I think that we go through these hardships so we can reach a hand out and extend an arm and hold the ladder for other people. And you know what? In the work that I do, Christine, that this need to be perfect comes up over and over again. Say things perfect, look perfect. I'm not young enough, old enough, thin enough, whatever. And I say on my tombstone, it's going to say the P in perfection stands for poison, because you're drinking poison, and no one connects to perfection. So when you share your story of hurt, pain, struggle, trauma, whatever it is, you then open a window for someone to see themselves in you. If you're only showing the glossy cover photos,
Exactly.
right, they're never going to relate to you. They might admire you, but they're never going to say, oh my gosh, I can do that too. No one says, oh my gosh, I can be Kim Kardashian too, right? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it becomes so disassociated from reality that even though you're curious, you're not going to invest your time, money, and energy on those coaches. And that's why I love that you work with, conscious entrepreneurs, and we got to be the guide, not the hero. And in order to be that, you have to be vulnerable. And video is one of the best ways to do that,
Well, and especially when we're talking about, I have one client that she's in her 70s, and this woman commands a camera. I mean, and I think you had said it's not about being perfect. It's about excellence. It's not about perfection. It's about excellence. Mm-hmm. Right. And this woman, all she has to do is turn on the record button and look, and she looks right into the lens. And let me tell you, it's like she's looking right into your soul.
Yeah.
Whatever she says, you're completely drawn to and magnetized to. So she could be saying the alphabet, she could be just doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're waiting for the, what's
you're
the
like,
next
give me more. What's the next letter?
Yeah. and that comes, and that comes with confidence of character, and, yes, and also being comfortable in her own skin, so to speak. But
for sure,
let's talk, because I know people are tuning into this to also get some tips and all of that from you. Do you mind? You want to give our listeners and our viewers
absolutely
a couple tips of maybe what to do and maybe what not to do when it comes to having that beautiful camera confidence on video?
Well, I want to go back to, just like everything in life, Christine, video is a muscle. We watch these people who are amazing on camera and we go, oh my God, I can't do that. Like, I don't know how to do that. Well, they didn't know how to either. Brene Brown, she has this saying that I love so much. She's like, you have to embrace the suck. She calls it the effing first time. And, when we do anything for the first time or we're new at something, our expectations are so grand. But then we're constantly disappointed because our vision, where we want to be, we're not there yet, right? So like, if you want to master anything, you have to do it, right? That 10,000 hours. So I'm going to encourage your listeners, your viewers right now, to get out of their head, stop trying to be perfect, and just commit. Commit to being visible. Commit to showing up, not for you, but for someone else. And that's tip number 2. So consistency, right, is number 1. And then it really is, if you want to be that authority, you want to be credible in your space, you need to be consistent with your messaging. And you also want to speak to one person at a time. One of the biggest mistakes I see, and it's easy to do because you're not thinking of one person, but you're like, hey everyone, thanks for being with me today. I'm Keri Murphy, the CEO of Inspired Living. And for the last 30 years, I've worked with entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. No one cares. No one cares. But when you said that 70-year-old like looks through the lens, make it about someone else. When you start your videos with something that matters to them and it's not about you, then you draw them in. For example, my ideal client, right, is someone who knows she's here to make a massive impact on the planet. She feels stuck. She feels like the best kept secret and doesn't know how to move past that. So instead of saying, hi, I'm Keri Murphy, video expert and business coach, who cares, right? I would say, I know that when you woke up today, you were excited and yet a little depleted because you know in your soul that you have this incredible message, you have a great product or service, and yet you're deflated by the thought of how to do it. You're overwhelmed with technology and you see everyone else using video and you're stuck in the how. I'm Keri Murphy and right? So start with them. Don't make it about you. Your videos are not about you. Let's get clear. Videos not about you. And the other thing, Christine, I want to reiterate too, that seems obvious, but is the biggest missed mark on the planet, is that people don't emotionally connect to their words. One of my clients said, Keri, I had a coach and she just told me to smile more. And you know what I'm talking about. And even if you're not watching me right now, you'll hear it in my voice. Does your life suck? Do you wish you made more money, but you don't know how you're going to make rent next week? Right? I mean, everything that you're saying has this smile on it instead of like connecting to your heart. And that's where I say state elicitation. Like if you want someone to feel something, you have to feel it first. So video is all about emotional connection. When you think about your favorite movie, your favorite commercials, your favorite Hallmark show, right? It's because it makes you feel a certain way. So it is your job as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to make people feel something. And that goes down to your core value, what's important to you. And that's why I say like the older you get, the easier it becomes, because I think the clearer you are in who you are, the easier it is to stop worrying about what everyone else thinks and be really committed to showing up consistently in your message and in your brand.
Oh, that was good. Yeah. That was really, really good. And also, the thing is too, is that we tend not to think about it's because the pressure, like so many people are pressured, like I got to get a sale, I got to get money, I got a mortgage. And so that there's a smell of
that's the exact opposite energy that will bring one to you.
Exactly. I just spoke with, I just had an interview recently with Cindy Van Arnhem, who is a wealth activator. That's her specialty. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that so much of our lack of feeling worthy of abundance, and prosperity comes from that space of desperation.
Yeah.
And when you have that energy of desperation, the universe goes, oh, let's give her more of that desperation. Okay, that's where you're feeling. But when you come from a place of, you know what, I know that what I'm doing is important in the world. And I know that the clients or the customers, the people that are going to resonate with me are going to be attracted to me. And I walk solidly in that. It's amazing what the universe delivers. Absolutely.
Amazing. I mean, come on. The law of attraction has been around for quite some time. And I'm such a firm believer, and I've seen it in my life, really what you think about, you bring about. And so I've worked with, my amazing spiritual mentor and friend, Sabrina Rising, who really has taught me the power of intention. And the thing is, people know it, but they don't implement it, right? And so if you live in scarcity, you stay in scarcity. And I lost a business. I was bankrupt. I started completely over. I moved 7 times in 3 years. So to look at where I was versus where I am now, I can say 1,000% intention, like 1,000% law of attraction, 1,000% show up to serve, and what you want comes back to serve you. But I will never forget the days I was a single mom with Lauren, and I would be walking down the stairs while she's napping thinking, I hope I make it this month. And so to have a 7-figure business now and the life that I have, I really owe it to exactly what we're talking about, is the power of energy and law of attraction and intention setting. It's huge.
And action. Because
well, of course, you can't just think about it. Yeah.
You can't just think about it.
Please.
That's one thing about conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual peoples that I love and adore, but just putting a vision board up and not actually taking action. And being willing to fail.
Yeah. Sure.
This is a big one. This is one. Well, I'm not going to do that because I might fail, or I might not
look stupid,
perfect,
or I might mess up. Who cares? Mess up and keep going.
half of the things that I've learned that I'm a master at now, I had to try and fail and go, oh, okay, that didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Oh, that kind of is cool. It's having that, like a baby, being able to explore, crawling, getting up, falling, getting up, not falling, walking a couple steps, crashing.
Yeah,
But
I have a toddler at home right now, so I really get that. But imagine if that toddler was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not walking ever again. I keep falling down like Landon. I keep hitting my head. I'm just going to stop, And I think that's such a great metaphor for just entrepreneur life. We hit our heads every day, right? And we go, okay, that's not the direction I want to go. Let me try this way, because there's a big thing there that makes me keep hitting my head. And I just love the conversation, because even though we're talking about video, it really comes down to tenacity and resilience and, to keep going even when you don't see the automatic ROI. Like, I look back at my videos, Christine, from like 2010. They're so bad, but I was doing them. When I felt no one was watching, and still sometimes I think no one's watching, and we have a huge business now. So, going back to, it's not about you, the fail forward, to mess up, who cares? And again, the more you mess up, the more people can relate to that and to you. And I think it's so important that we're vulnerable and we're transparent. Actually, Sarah Blakely, who I just love, she started Spanx, like first $1 billion women in business. Her dad would ask her every day when she was younger, how did you fail today? Oh. And I love that so much, because especially as women, we're told, be perfect, like don't mess up, get straight A's. I think every parent wants the best for their child, but to have your parent ask you, how did you fail today? What did you do that didn't work? And when she said nothing, he was really disappointed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to do that when my kids get a little bit older. Like, tell me how you failed today, because failed means you're trying. And without trying, you can never succeed.
Bingo. Yes. And you know what? Another thing, especially if it comes to creating video content for your business or your brand, or creating a podcast, one thing that I tell my clients, and you're welcome to tell yours as well, but maybe you already do, is that in addition to, you never know who's watching you. You never know who's listening to you. You never know who's reading your book or your blog. I'll give a little quick story. Many, many years ago, I worked for a little thing called America Online. You're probably too young to even remember.
AOL. Yes.
Back in the day, America Online was it. It was the first really community social service that you could, tap into. And I wrote an entertainment column through a cartoon character called Beatbox Betty. And so it wasn't Christine writing these reviews and celebrity gossip stuff. It was Beatbox Betty. Mm-hmm. And so I did that for quite some time. I would go to the press junkets and do do all this stuff. And I did it in a very kind of a head of hopper, like campy. She had a martini in her hand all the time, so she was a little tipsy. But it was a very popular column on AOL, but I had no feedback. Like, it was like you're just sending out that radio signal, right? You're just broadcasting. You're broadcasting, and I just knew that I had fun doing it. Like, I laugh. I would write something and I'd go, "Damn, that's good. That's funny." Okay, but I got no feedback loop, so I didn't know who was reading it.
Is anyone even reading this article?
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And my editor was on the East Coast, and they were just like, just get it in time. They didn't want any feedback. But about a year, probably 6 months to a year down the road, I was in West Hollywood, and I was having dinner, and seated next to me was Lily Tomlin and her partner at the time, Jane Wagner. Now, Lily,
right. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. She is amazing in so many ways, but her partner, Jane Wagner, is the writer. Jane is brilliant brain, Jane. And so my friend at the time was saying, go talk to them, go say hi, introduce yourself. And I was like, no, I can't. That's
crazy.
Yeah. No, I can't do that because that, everybody comes up and talks to them, and how rude would that be? I don't want to interrupt them. And it was, no, go. So I got the courage up and I walked over and I just said, Jane, Lily, hi, I'm Christine Blosdale, also known as Beatbox Betty, because I was just, I don't know, I was trying to say something, trying to talk. And I just really, yes. I just really love you guys. And I think you're amazing. And okay, I'll go back to my seat now. And they looked at each other, and Jane said to Lily, she said, Lily, she said, that's Beatbox Betty. And I thought they were punking me or something. I was like, what? Are you making fun of me?
What?
And Lily said, we read your column all the time and we think you're so funny.
Oh.
And I said, I'm like, really?
Stop it. Yeah.
The moral of the story is you never know who's reading your blog, reading your column, listening to your podcast, watching your videos. You never know. So I like to tell that story to my clients so that when they are creating content, I say, pick a person that you really admire. Deepak Chopra, Oprah, whoever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pick a person that you really admire and love and respect. And imagine that you're talking directly to them.
Yes.
And
but for some people that might be a little intimidating. So you could also pick, your best friend, a client that I think when it really comes to video for your business, understanding intimately the psychographic, not just demographic, like that's all surface, like where you live, how much money you make, spirituality, 2.5 kids, but to know their deepest desires, to know what keeps them up at night, to know what's possible for them once they work through the challenges that they're facing right now. You speak from that point of view, people will say the best compliment on the planet, which is, I feel like you're talking to me.
Oh.
Like, how did you know what I was thinking? And I think there's nothing greater than that. So like speaking to the Oprahs, like I would be like, hi, Oprah. But speaking to my ideal client, knowing her psychographic and where she is and how she feels, it's easy. I press record and it just flows because I know her, because I was her, so.
Well, and you're communicating from your heart.
Right. And I always say, like, look, you cannot be in your head and your heart at the same time. Don't try to script something or put up a bunch of notes and think that we don't notice that you're not authentically connected to yourself. So I think that's another big tip. Like bullet point out your thoughts. Like we teach our clients a format so they never write a script, because come on, you cannot be thinking about your words and being authentic in your delivery at the same time, unless you're a trained actor. And like they're really good at that.
It's the same thing with podcast clients. It's I'll hear, hello, I am Susie Smith, and I am so happy to be here with you today.
Yes.
Tear up those notes.
Please don't do that.
If you're doing an interview with somebody, if you need to know their name or something, again, you're going to have to look at it. But when you're doing on camera, you're not going to be able to be looking at your notes and read. Don't read.
But it's okay if you need a couple notes, if you need to quickly glance down, like that's real. We get that. But if you're completely in your head memorized, or what I love so much is when someone tapes their notes up to the wall and the whole time they're doing this. Hello.
They're looking at God.
They're looking at God. Like, where are the words coming from? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I could talk to you forever and ever. You know what? You have something that you want to give our wonderful viewers.
I do. And again, thank you so much for having me. We could talk forever. Like, I know. Seriously.
Well, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. I'd love to be back. We'll get you on our show as well. Awesome. But everywhere I go, yes, our gift, what we do as a company is teach people how to grow and scale their business using video. But one of the number one things I get asked is, but Keri, what equipment do I need? And how do I set up my home studio or my office? So we've put together this incredible guide. You can go download it right now. It's the Be Studio Ready Guide. It's beautiful. You can print it off. You can look at all the equipment. We have different phases of equipment based upon where you're at in your business. And so that's just a quick, get started. Just get started. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. Just go connect with your person.
They're going to get that through a link.
They're going to download it through the conscious heavens. You're going
We'll put a link to it in the show
No,
notes.
it's on the Inspired Living site. So inspiredliving.tv. You can just, it's right there on the homepage. You can go ahead and download it right away.
And that is a great starter guide. That is so true because, you know, you need certain things. You need to be lit up well.
Lighting, right? Sound. Yes.
And natural lighting is really good too. If you're in a dark basement and you have artificial lighting, maybe you might want to think about having some of that natural light.
Maybe move up. I will say, I know not everyone can see me right now, but if they're watching the video, my home office, I have a window to my right and a window to my left. I have actually windows all around. And then I have a little ring light and a little LED light that just, bring out the natural balance of it all. But I will say, you struggle with lighting, go find yourself a window. Just get that natural light. It's really helpful.
And you look, and you look like healthy.
Right.
I've seen some videos of people that don't look healthy. I know they're healthy, but they don't look.
They look dark and like they need some vitamin D.
Keri Murphy, thank you so very much for coming on today. And again, we're talking about what you're so successful at and how you teach people to be camera ready and to share their stories and to really become successful through the power of video. And I know how powerful it is. I know how I use it in many different ways. Everything from doing silly, fun reels on Instagram to doing the podcast and putting it on YouTube. So I really want to encourage my listeners and my viewers, please check out her website and get that free guide just to get started. And the most important thing is to just do it.
Just do it. I will say, and we talked about this previously, I do host a masterclass that is completely free, but it's like a 5-day video challenge. So if you're scared of showing up, you're not sure what to do, what to say, how to say it, where to put it, this video confidence and conversion, the transformation I see in people in 5 days, it's like, you couldn't pay, you don't have to pay for it, but you should pay for it. It's amazing. So we have a Facebook group, you can put it in the show notes, but really if you want to learn from me and my incredible group of coaches, it's completely free and it will change so much for how you feel and how you show up because the world needs you. Your message, your story, the only thing that makes you different is you. No one has new content. No one has a new program or service, really. It's just how you deliver it and how you show up in your space.
Thank you so much. Oh, definitely. We'll make sure that link is in the show notes, the Facebook group, so people can take the 5-day video challenge. That is awesome. And it's free, folks. So
free.
This is a no-brainer. You want to definitely jump on that. And thank you again, Keri Murphy, so much. The website that you want to check out, folks, is inspiredliving.tv. That's inspiredliving.tv. We'll have a link in the show notes. And you're welcome back, like I said, anytime. Whatever you want to talk about, we can get you back on Out of the Box. I'd love to have you. And I know our subscribers would love to have you back on as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And thank you, wonderful viewers on YouTube and subscribers on all the major platforms, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, blah, 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 blah. And if you want more information about this podcast, you can go to outoftheboxwithchristine.com. If you want more information about me, go to christineblasdale.com. Links will be in the show notes. But until next time, as I always say, remember to think outside that damn box.